Hi there, everyone, and this is Krissy from In the Stars by Krissy.com. And yeah, I'm an astrologer, as you all guys know by now. And today we are going to be taking a look on the September 2021, specifically on September 2021. And this full moon is going to be occurring on 7:54 a.m. Philippines time, of course. And yun ang pag-uusapan natin in this video. So, what's going to be happening? Because, just a disclaimer, no? I will be talking about a lot of deep stuff in this forecast reading because I really think na may mga bagay na hindi natin nakikita, hindi natin natatakal ng maayos when we're taking a look on this on a bigger picture, on a bigger scale. Because um, as you guys can see on this side of the screen, meron akong chart na nilagay dito. I'm sure you guys won't be able to see because it's very small, but basically, it's going to be different from the usual chart na you'll probably get to see online because in most cases, a lot of those charts only shows the planetary alignments and how that goes about. But with here, I'm using astro.com to cast this chart. And ang ginawa ko is I activated the asteroids and fixed stars that are going to be prominent for this full moon in the sign of Pisces. So, I'll try not to give you guys a lot of technical terms, but explain to you bakit ang conclusion ko is going in this direction. So, yeah, without any further ado, let's dive into this full moon in the sign of Pisces. Anyways, full moon. Full moon is all about revealing things, all about revelations of all sorts. Whenever there is a full moon, there is actually something big, just like how we see the moon in the skies. I know if you've been watching me do my forecast readings, you guys already know na ito sinasabi ko to, na parang pagka may new moon, walang moon in the skies, but there is actually a moon. Pagka may full moon, you are actually seeing something out there. And everything is actually pretty much symbolic in nature. So, since we can see a full moon in the sky, we tend to see some form of effects of how things goes here on Earth, here in reality. So, mapapansin ninyo, new moon is all about starting things. We tend to realize certain things. It's all about internal nature of various things in our life. But whenever there is actually a full moon, this is all about merong resulta. Merong resulta, basically. um, meron tayong nakikita, meron tayong nalalaman. Something gets revealed to us. So, and it could also be a revelation of some kind. It could be an internal revelation. But basically, hindi siya parang revelation na parang, I think I'm going to make a conclusion na ganito, na ganyan. Hindi siya about ganon. That is all about the new moon. It's like, nagkakaroon ka ng hypothesis pagka merong new moon, you know? Ano ba yung gusto mong gawin sa buhay mo and stuff like that. Yan yung mga, pwede nating itackle. We're planting the seeds pagka merong new moon. But now na nasa full moon stage tayo, this is all about, okay, I'm really sure now. Ito na talaga ang gusto ko. So, there is an influence like that here. Now, why is this really important to actually say? Is that this full moon is in the sign of Pisces. And whenever the moon is in the sign of Pisces, it's actually pretty much special in nature. And at the same time, you should not treat it in a way kung paano si Sun in the sign of Pisces because they are essentially going to be very different. Sun in Pisces is, parang sabihin na natin na Sun in the sign of Pisces is very lightweight, you know. They can be very sensitive, emotional, dreamy, and stuff like that. But whenever the moon is in the sign of Pisces, there's actually something quite dark here. Um, it tends to feel things on a different level, on a different scale than normal. And if you are aware, or if you're not aware, then I'll let you know that this moon is closer to Neptune, who is also in the sign of Pisces. So, parang ano yan eh, domino effect. Meron na nga tayong Neptune in the sign of Pisces, tapos yung moon, may full moon pa in the sign of Pisces. And um, in science and statistics, we all know na everything is functioning with the moon. And pagka merong full moon, may mga eclipses, people tend to get crazy. Not in a very literal way, but I guess some people can be on that aspect, I guess. People tend to be very emotional. People tend to be very fickle as well. Um, alam mo yun, they tend to lose their head with certain things, lalo na pagka emotionally triggered sila. On another aspect, a moon in the sign of Pisces can be very, very, very psychic as well. And I have this moon. And so, if there's anyone else who will probably have the right to talk about or share information about the moon in Pisces, that will be me. Because I also have my Rahu near displacement. And since Neptune has not changed sign since forever, Neptune in Pisces, along with my moon, is actually conjunct by transit. So, alam ko yung feeling. Alam ko yung epekto nito na nagagawa niya. So, this is, it takes a lot of work to actually understand moon in Pisces. And, alam mo yun, you just cannot figure things out ng agad-agad. It also depends whether are you an intuitive person, do you function by your guts, or are you trying to rationalize what you feel? Kasi ibang issue na yun as a whole. But anyways, we're getting off track. I just want to say na this full moon in Pisces is going to be very big because it has the fixed star of Scheat. Scheat. So, it's with the word na may silent S siya and Cheat. Cheat. So, this fixed star is not the best fixed star to have in a full moon. This can give a sense of worry, can give us a sense of loss, an accident, a disaster of some kind. And I think na-mention ko na to sa September forecast ko nung earlier this month na there is a chance na magkakaroon tayo ng maraming floods, maraming water, and napansin na natin, 'di ba, na parang ang daming mga rains, ang daming mga floods. And so, there is a possibility to have a flood problem, flood issue, or water problem, water issue na pwede nating ma-experience because of this. So, and Cheat is actually a very, not a very wonderful fixed star, I would have to say. So, it will have a lot to do with wrongdoings, competitions, and I don't want to say it, but it means that it's actually being linked with bad luck as well, and misfortunes and stuff like that. So when it's making an opposition with you know, sun and moon opposition together, this can actually tell us maybe something that we may have done before can creep up on us. Meron tayong ginawa before na maybe it was a mistake. We did a mistake and stuff like that. And we are being reminded of that mistake once again. But have we actually learned our lessons with this? Or maybe hindi natin natutunan yung mga lessons na dapat nating matutunan. So ito yung mga bagay na pwedeng i-bring up nitong full moon in the sign of Pisces. Because this is a moon in Pisces, our emotions is going to be the main focus of this energy. Also, you have to pay attention to your dreams and stuff like that. It will matter as well. The actions that we take during this time, magkakaroon siya ng big issue because we may have a tendency to repeat something in the past. And this is actually because na meron siyang, it's making a quincunx aspect to Mercury, who is in the sign of Libra by the time na nangyayari tong full moon. And Mercury in Libra is very discerning. You know, it tends to see things on different perspective, what the pros and cons of a situation and stuff like that. Maybe ang tagal mong nagde-decide, ang tagal mong nag-iisip sa isang certain thing and you just cannot make up your mind. And this is the issue with the moon in Pisces energy. Pisces energy in general makes a person very much na, alam mo yun, kaya nga 'di ba parang alam natin lahat ito if you are an astrology student that Pisces is ruled by the two fishes na they are stick together like a twin, but they are nakafocus sila on different directions. So having 2 feet, but one wants to go to the left and one wants to go to the right. So it's a funny combination if you would ask me. So lalo kang hindi naka-move forward. And this is the thing. This full moon can remind us sa isang bagay na we may have some form of issue in the past, but we are unable to actually move forward with it. And another signification of this aspect is actually Ixion. Dahil this asteroid, this dwarf planet, is actually creating the T-square sa full moon na ito. So, and Ixion is actually talking about this. And I'm sure na yung mga iba sa inyo napanood na yung previous video ko regarding, you know, the mythology on how I make my analysis when it comes to fixed stars and asteroids. Now, just a bit of a background information on Ixion is that basically to cut things short, he was promised something pero hindi na fulfill ang promise na dapat. So what he did was he ended up pushing someone and killing someone in the process because of that. And the guilt of doing that is eating him up and hindi siya makamove forward because of that, you know, with the result. So Ixion is actually has a lot to do with second chances and being really discerning kasi nga isip ka ng isip about sa past, diba? Like you keep checking the pros and cons of a situation. At the same time, on a negative aspect, Ixion can actually manifest in a way wherein we give in too much with our lust. The things that we want, the things that we desire, the things na hindi natin nakuha pero gusto natin to have in our life. That is what Ixion is all about. And it's repeating something. Ixion likes to repeat something. Tapos, hindi niya natutunan. So, he tends to repeat the same errors that he did in the past. So, since this is a Pisces full moon, I would say na this can actually occur on 2 different levels wherein we may need to question ourselves whether natutunan na ba natin ang dapat nating matutunan or maybe we really haven't learned our lessons at all. this is a situation wherein some form of regret or trauma in the past can actually come up. And we might need to evaluate before tayo umulit ulit. Kailangan nating isipin kung may natuto na ba tayo o uulitin lang natin ang pagkakamali natin in the past. And this is actually going to manifest in terms of relationships. And I'm not just talking about love. This is going to be, whether in terms of our work, in terms of our relationships, how we communicate with people as a possibility. Pwede din mag-manifest sa ganong situation itong energy na ito. Because there is an energy here na very, very passionate, very Plutonian din. And it's, speaking of Pluto, Pluto is actually creating an exact square to Aries. And Aries is like Xena, right? We've already discussed this before, or if not in a video, we've already discussed this on my Facebook group, which all details you can check down below this video. And Aries is the goddess of discord. It likes to change, it likes to do some form of revolution, to start things up. And meron siyang bad reputation of creating trouble. But at the same time, a lot of astrologers believe, and I also believe, na Aries is also an asteroid that can help us start something. Like, for example, if you want to make an omelette, you need to break an egg. You cannot make an omelette or any kind of food with an egg without breaking it. So that's how Aries is, you know? So when we talk about Pluto, this is all about, renewal of some kind, maybe an ending of some kind. So we are actually seeing a lot of themes here na things that have ended, tapos may some form of transformation and renewal of some kind. So I really think that this full moon in the sign of Pisces will have a lot to do with discerning how we should deal with relationships, whether we should give something a chance or we should just move on, because I really feel that this is going to have us repeat something that we did in the past. Meron tayong uulitin. Whether ang pag-uulit na ito is going to be really good for us or not is going to be a different story. Okay, it's going to differ depending on your own charts. But definitely there's going to be a repeating cycle. Most importantly then, Ixion is actually creating quincunx aspect as well. Sorry, I keep looking down below because I do have my notes over here. So if nababother kayo, just don't mind. So Ixion is actually creating a quincunx aspect to Sedna. And Sedna is also another dwarf planet, which has a lot to do with betrayal. So whoever this person is, if you're dealing with a relationship or someone significant, this is a person betrayed us, or this is a situation na nag-cause ng disappointment in our life or nag-cause ng bad luck in our life, wherein meron na tayong major lesson na na-overcome before, tapos it's here again to confront you. Gagawin mo ba yun ulit? Are you willing to take the chance to do something about it, I really think na it's okay to repeat things. It's not okay to repeat the mistake to the point na parang wala tayong natutunan. Parang ito yung time na dapat we cannot just make decisions and make judgments without really thinking about certain things. This time, kailangan natin maging smarter, to handle things in a way wherein mag-isip muna tayo. Lalo na, we have Mars in the sign of Libra during this time. We have Mercury in the sign of Libra during this time. And these two planets are very discerning. They like to check and double check certain things first. Mars in particular is an energy wherein it can fight when triggered. You know, pagka may ginawa ka towards them, dun lang sila nagtitake ng action. They can be very argumentative. They can kill with their words. But basically, it can also be a situation wherein they tend to fight for justice or fight for another person. You might be in a position wherein you are going to tell yourself that this is actually worth it and it's worth fighting for. So, may mga ganong energies tayo. However, I just kind of feel na this is not for impulsive decision making. Ito yung bagay na kailangan matagal mo na siyang hinesitate. Ang tagal mo nang pinag-isipan, hinesitate, and you might be getting some form of sign during this time na para, okay, go signal, gawin na natin to. You might get an answer like that. And that might just be something that can give answers to the wishes that you have within yourself. You know, para siyang answered prayer, kumbaga. Even though that we have the influence of Scheat, it's going to trigger a lot of things for us. But basically, ang energy na napipick up ko dito is that merong very traumatic event na pwede nating i-alter or baguhin. Yun siya. It is going to create a major change for us though. Sobrang laking change ang epekto na to. Hindi siya parang, alam mo yun, flimsy kind of energy. Because we're dealing with Mars. So, also, this full moon is very Saturnian in nature, and Saturn is actually retrograde at this time. So, pagka retrograde si Saturn is actually telling us to rethink a lot of things before we actually make certain decisions. So, meron tayong mga kailangan pag-isipan talaga. Some people will be at a state of confusion or merong burden silang ma-feel. And this can also be a trigger point wherein something has been gone or long overdue. Meron na tayong kailangan ayusin, and this time we will be forced to think about this, forced to maybe clear up any form of misunderstandings that we have with other people. Ang difference na lang talaga is, are you here to clear up the misunderstandings? Or are you here to create more of that misunderstandings? Because that's another story. Again, Mars in the sign of Libra can be argumentative as well. Just make sure that what you are doing has a lot to do with some form of justice, you know? And another thing that we need to take a look here is that when it comes to relationships, you know, when it comes to relationships and partnerships, sometimes not everything is so black and white. Not everything has to do with what is right and what is wrong. Sometimes we need to make some form of adjustments. So there's a lot of things to really talk about here, because this is not just all about balance and fairness, but it's also asking us what is really in your heart and how can you really implement this in your life. Because being logical with certain things is not enough. You know, there is an element here of being emotional as well. Kung ano ba yung tinutubok ng puso mo, kung ano ba talaga yung sinasabi ng puso mo. So, again, caution is going to be a big thing here. Being careful and stuff like that can be an issue as well. So, yun. Also, um, yeah, Venus is actually making an opposition to Uranus during this time, and meron din siyang T-square actually kay Saturn retrograde. So we might need to be this clearly is really talking about, the need to rethink a lot when it comes to our relationships and stuff like that. Are you here to renew relationships, or are you here to end relationships because it's not working anymore? Again, Saturn has a permanent kind of energy, and Saturn rules with time. So maybe, this is an issue wherein divine timing could be at play. So whether this is talking about our karma na parang okay, oras na para makuha mo yung lesson na dapat mong malaman, it's going to happen here and now. And at the same time, if something fated has to happen in terms of your life, in terms of your relationship, dito rin to mangyayari, because Saturn is actually telling us that you really need to get things going. Kailangan mo na itong matutunan. Kailangan na magkaroon ng changes when it comes to your relationships. The things that you have been doing in the past is totally not working anymore. And you really need to fix this kind of attitude that you have. Not everything can be just how it was before. There are lessons that we need to learn. There are lessons that we need to take into consideration. Also, if you have this guilt in your heart na hindi mo ma-let go, ito na yung time na something is going to be forced on you. Whether it's time to let go or whether it's time to pursue something, something will happen that can provide some form of healing so that magkaroon tayo ng relief for us to feel better with our situations as well. So, overall, this is really my forecast for a lot of you guys. Also, let's not forget na Sedna was betrayed in Ixion. And difference niya with Ixion is that Ixion was also betrayed, but Ixion gumante siya. And he came to this realization na, oo, gumanti ako, pero nagigilty ako. And because of what I did, I cannot move on from that. So, something is being called upon us so that a healing can take place. This is also a situation wherein, meron na tayong kailangang harapin. If you have been looking at everything in rose-tinted glasses, this moon in the sign of Pisces is going to show you the hard facts and give you lessons the hard way. And sometimes this could be a situation wherein we already know what it is that is going to be happening for us. We already know where this situation is going. Pero maybe ayaw lang natin tanggapin, ayaw natin aminin. And minsan, kapag ayaw natin, the world, the universe, ang gagawa ng paraan para magising tayo sa reality. And that is going to be the effects of this full moon sign of Pisces, at least on my side. In my analysis for this, it will have something to do with the past. And there is a possibility na parang this could be a situation wherein you might rekindle a relationship with a certain person. And that's actually pretty much of a good thing. It's just that, yun nga, we are having this reminder of, are you going to repeat the same mistakes or not? Because kapag gaganon, edi sayang lang lahat ng opportunities na binigay ng universe so that you can rekindle things with your partner, diba? We need to learn something from the past and, take the initial steps to make things right. and stuff like that. And it also teaches us that not everything needs to be very extreme. We need to adjust as well. And just like Pisces is very much flexible. Even though medyo contradicting kasi parang minsan hindi sila flexible. But they are the fishes. They need to go with the flow. They need to venture where their heart is telling them to venture and stuff like that. We cannot be rigid with black and white alone. But ayun, I do feel na there is something really good with this, despite the fixed start of cheat and stuff like that. But it's very important na matuto tayo sa mistakes natin and natuto tayo sa mga lessons na nakuha na natin and not waste the opportunity that the universe is giving us with a second chance. So, anyways, I hope you've learned something from this forecast. Do let me know how this actually works out for you. That is going to help me learn and maybe help you learn as well on this. Anyways, if you like this astrology tidbits and stuff like that, please do hit the subscribe button and click the bell icon as well. That is going to be very much helpful. And if you like, you can check out my Facebook group on facebook.com/group/readings by Krissy and join along with the group and share us, your experience, astrology, and stuff like that. And yeah, and check out updates from me, of course. Yun lang, and I'll see you guys again next time. Bye!